Say, man, for those select few that are already initiated, you should already know what's coming next. And for those of you that aren't, just chill. See, we're gonna get to that other shit in a minute. But first, what you gotta understand is everything is vibration. So just vibe. Figured it out, you fooling with the right one. So it's about that time for you to just open up your ear and let me crawl into your mind one time. See, this time you done did it. You done fucked around and clicked on something that took you way out of your comfort zone. But that's alright. Just vibe. Just vibe. You really ain't got no other choice. You can either vibe or we can get into some real gangster shit. I don't think you want that. Don't get it twisted. I'm that type of guy. I don't think you got it twisted though. Spooky, ain't he? I'm gonna have fun. I don't care what anybody think about it. That's one thing about me. If you tell me some serious shit and I laugh in your face, I'm sorry. I'm just built like that. But that don't mean I have to build like that. Put your whole different energy in your bone. It's about vibration. I'm vibration. Hell, I'm practically humming. You vibration. Your mama was vibration. She is vibration. Your sister. Your partner. Your homegirl that told you that watching this shit is stupid. It be alright. I never sweat the small shit. What it was, y'all. Y'all know who it is. And y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge of Self. And this right here, this ain't shit but some cosmic insight, man. And hey, man, I hope everybody's feeling energized. I hope you feel it in your body. Because that was a little something different, huh? That was a whole different experience. And so is this. Because this right here, this is a little something about those people that have Uranus in the first house of their natal chart. Yes. And before we actually get to that, if you don't know my style, I'm going to put you up on game. First, I'm going to bring y'all a little bit about Uranus in astrology. I'm going to bring y'all a little bit about the energy that comes along with it and how it might affect you. Then after that, I'm gonna give y'all a little information, about the first house of the astrological chart and, what goes on with that. Then after that, we're gonna make it climax. Mi favorito. So, without bullshitting any further, let's get it cracking. So, for me, Uranus is like the cosmic alarm clock and shit. And that's because big shocks and surprises are usually in store wherever it shows up in the chart, for real. And it's a planet of triggering events and breakthroughs that we don't expect. And as a higher octave of Mercury, it relates to the genius streak of the mind. Yeah. And so for a lot of us astrologers, Uranus is known as the Awakener. And that's because of the way that its aspects and its transits being certain changes and shocks, when it's coming along. And along with Saturn, it's the ruler of the 11th house in the sign of Aquarius. And that means that it can really bring brilliant innovation along and really sudden upheavals that could really bring a sudden break from the norm. That's probably necessary, if you ask me. And when we're talking about the sign placement of Uranus, it stays in a sign for about 7 years. So it's considered generational in that aspect, meaning that it'll make a similar impression on a lot of those folks in that time frame, in that 7-year frame that are born in that time. For instance, I was born in the Uranus in Sagittarius generation, but my Uranus is in the 3rd house. Now, when we're talking about the house placement, that's where it gets a little bit more personal, and that's what we're going to talk about. Okay. And that shows where your brilliance is. That shows what area of life is most prone to sudden flashes of genius and crazy upheavals. And also where you're just different. You understand? And the aspects, they show where shit gets interested in your life and where you might be in for some cosmic surprises. For instance, you're stuck in a job that you hate that's not a part of your spiritual path in the first place. Well, you know what? Uranus gonna come through and get you fired from that bitch. Or better yet, tank the company or even burn that bitch down. That's Uranus, man. And let me also tell you that the aspects are of utmost importance. And speaking of which, around the age of 40, transit Uranus will be opposing your natal Uranus. And at that time, man, that coincides with that, dreaded midlife crisis that a lot of people kind of go through, man. And really what that is that's Uranus helping you break free from the shackles that have kept you from fulfilling your true destiny. So, hey, man, with Uranus, my motto is always stay woke or get woke the fuck up. Okay. And so in astrology, the first house is the house of self. And the cusp of the first house, that's where the ascendant lies. And, whatever sign is on the horizon in the east and all that, we've talked about that. But, through thinking of this terms of sunrise and of beginnings, that's where you can kind of grasp the concept of the first house. Because, here, new beginnings are centered on the individual and the self and the voyage for discovery through, that really defines each one of us, pardon me. And, who are you? Those are the questions. What will you become? How can you realize your best self? That's all first house stuff, man. And, it really speaks to how you could be a unique individual in this existence, man. The first house contains our appearance, our apparent personality, and really our preferred approach to life, whether you believe it or not. And it's our outer vessel, but not the sum of our whole being, man. And it's the package that we outwardly project to the world. The first house also represents the physical body, and in particular, the head and the face, okay? And the first house is ruled by Aries and the sign of Mars. And the first house, also rules our early childhood. And in some cases, man, the first house speaks to the vehicle we use to get to the person that we're becoming, both internally and externally. And it addresses our personality and our presentation to the physical world and our demeanor and really, like I said, just our approach to life. So when you're taking that and you're putting Uranus here, so let me tell you right off the rip, man, and go ahead and state the obvious that having this particular placement, man, it makes a motherfucker unusual in every way. In every way, man. They're original. They're unique. They have a lot of original ideas, and they typically prefer to look and, conduct themselves way different than everybody else around them, man. They feel different too. Okay? That's real. And they're the type of people who were born feeling like they really just have this special purpose. But, it's often kind of hard to pinpoint just exactly what that is. especially when they were real young. And that'll come to unfold later on because, one day the realization just comes with Uranus. Boom. Like that, like a light bulb switch on. And, I'm also going to tell you that Uranus, if it's close to the ascendant, they're going to come across a lot like an Aquarius rising, whether they're an Aquarius rising or not. Okay, no matter what their sign is, man. If they got Uranus close to that ascendant, man, like you can look to the personality traits of an Aquarius rising and you'll see a lot like them, man. And, moving on from that, though, these folks often experience a lot of fucking sudden changes in their life. And they're always changing inside, too. And some people would really characterize them as unpredictable. And they probably wouldn't be wrong because they can be shocking from time to time, just to say the least. Just to say the least. Either way, man, first house Uranus says that you come across as someone extremely smart that's always has some new shit to say. And with the more harmonious aspects, they're very, very, very influential people in the most positive and empowering ways. But with the harder aspects, a lot of people are going to, be thrown off by how they come across without ever giving them a chance to ever know who they are internally or know what they're really about. And breaking this one down a little bit, having Uranus in the first manifests in this original thinker and this innovator where all the Uranian qualities become more visible to anyone who meets him. And people see him as unique, independent, and just, far out in every way. And, as with in any strong Uranus placement, freedom is going to be extremely imperative to these people, man. Rules have to make sense for them to even consider and following them. And if they don't, they ain't afraid to break them motherfuckers. They're not. These are, proverbial button pushers, really. And, self-expression and being authentic or, that's really another priority in these people's lives, man. And they have such a strong sense of who they are that they want to let other people see it too. And hopefully, feel motivated to be their own authentic selves by peeping out how they rock. And that's another thing that I just think is beautiful. They hate being stuck in environments with where they have a strict dress code too. That's something else I've noted, or something where they have a job where they have to wear uniforms too. Cause a lot of them speak through their appearance, man. And, stifling that is just almost complete torture in a lot of senses. And these folks operate best on their own too. Cause they find it pretty difficult to adjust to others that, can't keep up with them, man, or other people, that contradict their own inner drum, which is that's crazy. That's a paradox to me in itself. And I'm going to tell you now also that, these people with this strong Uranus in their chart, they absolutely cannot stand somebody trying to impose their will on them. That's going to get a really adverse reaction, man. They will buck. And when they buck, it's not going to be something to play with, man. It's not going to be something to play with. First house Uranus people, they're quick in everything they do. So in turn, there's a lot of suddenness to them. Better understand that, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of suddenness to them in body, in mind, in everything. And if you can't keep up and you think you tripping, like, you gonna get lost, buddy. You're gonna get lost, man. They're quick, man. And Uranus is the planet of sudden changes. And so, they can be guilty of acting without thinking sometimes, man. And, that can make them a little accident prone too. So if you do have this placement, I'm just going to tell you, man, be careful, man. Slow down sometimes. They also, their nerves are very sensitive. This is one of those placements. And, having prominent Uranus really also suggests that, this sense of constant restlessness is always there. And they probably, gave their motherfucking people's fits when they were little kids, man, because these little kids have buckets of energy, man. And having Uranus in the first house also tells me that I'm dealing with somebody just way ahead of their time, man. But you also got to understand that being ahead of your time, you know, it is not an easy bag to carry, because a lot of the time that comes with a certain amount of loneliness that some people can't handle. And the challenge here is just to learn how to freaking cooperate with the conservative society in a way that really benefits both the individual and their unique individual self and this society, man. They have a lot of fucking futuristic ideas, which are not always easy to accept at first. But instead of just tripping out and going against the grain for the sheer sense of rebelling, man, they just need to maybe tweak their approach a little bit. And then things will run a lot more smoothly, man. And with the more harmonious aspects, this is a free-spirited, self-willed person with genius mental capacity and revolutionary ideas. But with the more challenging aspects, you get a rebel without a cause, okay? A reckless agitator with no plan about what to do if the motherfucking revolution fails. And it's always important to remember that Uranus just does have a disruptive quality, no matter what, for better or for worse. But it's always up to you how it plays out, because just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that. You don't have to feed into any of the negativity. You don't have to let any bullshit affect you. You understand? And it's not even about what you do. It's about how you do it. And even beyond that, man, you'll never understand it. But that's some priceless knowledge in itself, man. And there's been some priceless knowledge of self. If y'all are interested in the astrological readings whatsoever, you can either hit me up in the comments below, or you can email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. Hey, man, y'all like, share, subscribe. If y'all are interested in any merch, you can do the same thing as if you're interested in any astrological readings. If y'all, which I only have hats and hoodies, man. So, you know, and I don't have a website up yet to do my thing. I got somebody that's actually working on that now, and it's in the process. I have actually had to pay a pretty penny to get somebody to get a website going for me. And hey, I love how everything's prospering, but it's coming along. So if you want merch, you got to hit me up in my fucking email. Also, if you're interested in donating to the cause, you can see the link in the description below. I thank everybody for their love and support regardless, man. I ain't starving. I love you, man. We'll be back soon. Y'all keep it trill until then.